everybody, welcome to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa. Today we're going to be working on a stenciling piece, but we're not going to be stenciling in the traditional sense. I saw another artist do this. I believe it was Suzanne Rose Art. I'll put a link in the description to her videos. But I saw this technique and I thought, oh, that is cool, and I want to do that. So I'm using two Crafters Workshop stencils today. And you apply the ink to the stencil, and then add some water. So I gave it a good spritz, but apparently not good enough. So I'm doing a second run here. Um, and that's much better. So basically just using the stencil to hold the ink until you press it down on the paper. And we're using some watercolor paper here and just having fun. This is extremely fun, actually. I had a great time making this piece. It's just a little messy, but that's okay. I put down my media mat here, and I'm going to dry this ink because I want to do another layer with a different stencil. Also from our friends at the Crafters Workshop. And I've listed all the supplies in the description. So if you want to find any of this stuff, you've got that information there. And yeah, just gently placing it down on the paper. And then I'm using a paper towel to kind of firmly press down so that all of the stencil touches the paper without making it a mess. Um, so the paper towel is there to kind of hold the stencil in place. It also helps if you have a little bit longer nails than I do. I have little joke nails. I've always had bad fingernails. Yes, I get plenty of calcium, y'all, don't worry. But yeah, you might want to have a little pair of tweezers there to help you get these stencils off of the page. I made do. I did okay. The nice thing about this technique is that the inks will blend together. So I got some really nice little spots of green by putting the yellow on top of the blue ink. Okay, now this stencil is from Hero Arts, and this stencil in concept is really cool. But in practice, like in using this thing, it is not great. In fact, I have a sneaking suspicion this stencil will be in the next round of donations to the Creative Reuse store. Um, yeah, don't love this stencil, but you know what? I'm doing my best with it. It's just, it doesn't have enough support. The middle is only supported by two little tiny pieces of plastic, and it doesn't stand up to use, frankly. Anyway, so we're going back to the previous stencils using the same color ink. And here I'm just using a little bit of the stencil. So I'm kind of holding it, pressing down just part of it. Now, if you don't put enough ink or water on your stencil, you'll get a blotchy print. And maybe that's what you want. I wasn't that crazy about it, but it inspired me in a minute to do something else. So now I'm going to take some orange ink, which I got a little bit of orange from the yellow and pink, but I'm filling in a few circles with this really pretty bright orange, and just to make things interesting. So just randomly choosing some circles. Um, and then once those are dry, I think they look really cool. Now I'm going to add some water to the pink ink, which I think is picked raspberry, and just do some spatters. And that kind of worked out really well with the halfway imprinted ink up top. I tried to fill in some circles here, but honestly, it got a little muddy, which was disappointing. I really wanted it to, maybe turn purple, but I think there were too many inks going on in those circles, which is okay. So now I'm done with the background and I'm trying to find something to be my focal point. And I've got this packet of Ukrainian ephemera that a really nice lady on Etsy sent me way back in like 2019. So I've had this pile for a while. Um, Also really glad to have it now, especially with all the stuff going on over there. Um, but yeah, didn't find the right piece. So I'm going to audition some other things. First thought was, how about a bird? Birds are great. I really love putting pictures of birds in my art, and I've got quite a few pictures that were possibilities. I also had a lot of magazine pages that I had pulled out, but none of them really caught my eye. So now I'm going to pull out the big folder here, and we're just do a quick run through of all the various random things that I have. Um, some of these are just interesting people. Some of them were cool colors. Um, but none of these really were the ones that were like, yes, this is the one for this piece. So it's okay. More birds, some owls. So, oh, and that owl, I was like, maybe that's a possibility. Our egret friend there again. A hawk. Aha! Now, that lady in the pink frilly jumpsuit with the guitar, she really jumped out. I tried the birds and I was like, no, 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 it's the lady in the pink. So we're going to fussy cut her out and it's going to take a minute. But yeah, this was the one. This pink matched the picked raspberry ink. And I think it's just, yeah, this was the one. So sometimes I start out with a focal piece in mind. Sometimes I make the background and then find a piece to match. Now I'm going to see where she fits. And uh, I don't know. I try out different things. So I'm turning my page, trying to see what would work. Does she work here? Maybe if I flip it again, put her over on the side, maybe over on the right or the left. Finally, I kind of go back to where she was standing in the middle because it just worked. Usually I like to have something a little more interesting looking, but this particular piece and this particular focal, I don't know, she needed to be in the middle of the page. When it's right, it's right. Go with your gut. Little glue stick, and we just adhere her very gently to the page. And I'm going to use my big piece of plastic just to make sure there's no air bubbles or wrinkles. I'm going to outline her with a black Posca paint pen just to make her stand out even more. Paint pen, and it will help the neck of the guitar stand out as well since it kind of blended into the background without an outline. This just makes her look really, really bold too, and I think it adds to that rebellious nature of this image. Give her a little bit of ground to stand on. We don't want our people just floating around. And I'm going to make a few marks, little X's with the Posca paint pen. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks so much. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see y'all next time.